What is a bronzer? What is a contour? And why is this used in the makeup application? Hey sis, in today's video, I'm gonna go over all those questions. So what is the difference between a contour and a bronzer? So if you're interested to learn something new today, then just continue to watch. All right, sis, so we're gonna go over what is a contour, what is a bronzer, when are they used in the makeup application, and then where and how to apply both. So let's get into it. So I've already done my foundation. I honestly just put one layer of foundation on, put my primer, my foundation, so those two are out of the way. So our base is pretty much complete. So at this point you would have your primer and your foundation on. So I wanna quickly just make it known that when you put foundation on your skin, you are essentially getting rid of your natural highlights and contours, shadows, all of those things when it comes to your face is gone once you put foundation on. You're gonna look like you have zero dimension to your skin. So if you're looking at me right now, you can see that I clearly have my foundation on. My skin just looks flat. You don't see my contours, you don't see any shadows to my skin. And that is essentially because we did put foundation on. So I wanna make that clear so that you guys understand where the contour and the bronzer steps come into the whole makeup application. So with that being said, let's get into what a contour is. So what is a contour? Makeup contouring is a makeup technique that brings back the natural shadows to your skin. Like I said, we tend to get rid of those once you put foundation on. So contour is going to bring back that structure and dimension to the skin, and it's really going to chisel out your face. So if you are someone who wants to chisel out your jawline or your cheekbones, give you a more narrow and structured look, that is what contour does. So contours are usually used in cream, liquid, or powder form. The most go-to way that I see people use contour is in a cream or liquid form. So cream being a cream contour stick and liquid being a concealer that is 2 to 3 shades darker than your complexion. So contours are usually matte. You are not going to see a contour with a shimmer or a shiny look to it. They're usually matte, so like an ash tone. So it's more of a cool undertone. So it's going to really give you that structure to your face. So it's going to add depth and dimension, helping to give your face a more proportioned look, and also accentuates your natural angles. I personally like to use cream contours. You guys have seen in plenty of my videos that I like to apply cream contours using a cream stick, like a contour stick of some sort. Some of my go-tos are the NYX Wonder Stick. So this one is a very affordable contour stick that you can get from your local beauty supply store or drugstore. This one is the Wonder Stick in the shade Deep. So it does come with 2 sides. One is a contour side and the other side is a highlighting side. I also really like using the Fenty Eavesdrop Blur and Smooth Tint Stick. Now this is mostly a tint stick, so it's used like as a foundation base, but I did pick up the wrong shade in this, so it's a bit darker than my actual complexion, so I do use it as a contour stick, and I love it because it's matte, it doesn't have any shimmer, it's cool, it has every quality that it has for a contour, so I also use this sometimes as well. All right, so let's get into what a bronzer is. So a bronzer is a makeup technique that gives you a more sun-kissed, warm finish. So it's gonna mimic the look of a natural tan. So when I talk about natural tan, especially for us women of color, I'm talking about places where the sun will naturally hit our skin. So these are areas that are the same as a contour. So that's where I could see where people get mixed up between what a contour and bronzer is. But essentially bronzers are more warm base, whereas a contour is more cool, like I said, so more ash tone. Bronzers are more warm base. So this is just really going to warm up your skin in the areas that the sun naturally hits. So bronzers can come in the same formula as a contour. So that's powders, creams, or liquids. The only difference with a bronzer is that they do have shimmer. So like I said, with a contour, it's more matte. You're not going to see shimmers in contour shades, but in bronzers, you're definitely going to see a more shimmery, warm look to a bronzer. So bronzers are normally applied in the places, like I said, that the sun hits. So those are places like your cheekbones, your forehead, your jawline, and your nose. And just like a contour, those are exactly the same areas. So these are essentially areas that we consider the outer perimeter of our face. So bronzers I like to use because they really make me look more fresh, more radiant, and just alive, honestly. It makes me look like I have a really nice sun-kissed tan going on. It brings back some nice shadows and dimensions to the skin, so I really do like using a bronzer. One of my favorite and go-to bronzers right now is the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer in the shade Butter Than You. This is in a powder form, and for me, I really like using powder form bronzers. You're definitely open to using liquid and cream bronzers as well, but I find a lot of people do tend to work with more of the powder bronzers. Powder bronzers are especially good for people who are oily skin because you're not adding that extra oil to your skin, and with bronzers you can definitely find oil in a lot of cream or liquid bronzers. So if you're someone who's oily skin, I would definitely recommend using a powder bronzer. Another powder bronzer that I really enjoy is the L'Oreal Infallible Bronzer. This is in the shade 500 Dark, and this one is a really good one as well. All right, so let's get into when are these both used in the makeup application. So like I said, bronzers and contours are used right after your foundation. So you guys see that I've already applied my foundation. At this point, you can go in with your contour or your bronzer, whichever one you personally want to work with. Now, good question is, can I use both contour and bronzer at the same time? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. You can definitely use both at the same time because they're both doing two different things. So a contour is going to structure your face, so it's going to bring back the natural shadows to your skin. So that's already one thing. And then because you are using a cream for your contour, if you do decide to go that route, you can go on top of that contour with a powder bronzer. So you can definitely use both at the same time. So the difference with bronzer and contour is with bronzer, you don't necessarily have to use like a concealer or anything to go with it. But with your contour, you definitely want to have that coexist with your highlighting concealer. So that's why we usually say highlighting and contour routine or highlighting and contour. You'll always find those two in the same sentence because with highlighting and contouring, you're literally structuring back your face. So you're bringing back what disappeared once you put on that foundation. So with contour, just always keep in mind you would want to highlight with a concealer that is 2 to 3 shades lighter. So you guys have seen this in countless videos of mine, how I do it and the steps that I take to do that. So that is the main difference in the application. All right, so I've already applied my concealer. So I just highlighted the middle section of my face. So those are the areas that you guys always see me highlight: underneath my eyes, down the bridge of my nose, my forehead, cupid's bow, and my chin. So doing this will help with the contour or the bronzer, whichever one you choose. It will just help bring your whole makeup look together. So I've already done that and that is out of the way. So now we can move on to the actual how to apply it and the application of both bronzer and contour. So I'm gonna start with contour. So for today, I want to use a contour stick. I am going to be using my Fenty Eavesdrop Blur and Smooth Tint Stick. This is in the shade 23. And I love this because it's a really nice deep shade. It's matte, it's cool. I love everything about this stick. So we're going to use this and apply it to our skin. So when it comes to contour, you want to really analyze your face before you even put any makeup on. Really look at the areas where the shadows hit your skin. So that's normally in the same areas for everybody. So the cheekbones, the forehead, jawline, but everyone's like where they apply it is a bit different. So you definitely want to learn your face shape and just where the contour would fit on your specific face. But for a general consensus, for the cheekbones, you want to find the tip of your ears and just create a line going down. Or another good way is to kind of make like a, is it a fish or a duck face? I don't know. But suck in the hollows of your cheekbones. And that line is where you generally want to apply your contour. So like I said, you want to find the top of your ear and just create a line going straight down. And you don't need to bring the contour all the way here. One line like this will suffice. Then you want to apply it on your forehead. So I usually do about 3 lines on my forehead. I don't need to do much. And then your jawline. So you want to apply it right underneath your jawline, just like that. So those are 3 of the areas that you want to contour. So when it comes to blending out your contour, you can use a damp beauty sponge, which is what I usually like to use because it just blends out the product a lot easier and faster in my opinion. But you can definitely go in with a more denser brush like this one here. This is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush that I use for my foundation, but you can definitely use it for your contour as well. Just any type of brush that has that dense bristles so that it's able to precisely blend out your contour. But today I'm going to use my damp beauty sponge, and what I'm going to do is just start dabbing that into my skin. And you just want to blend it out until you see that line disappear into your skin, and this is just going to give you some shadows back to your skin. And then for your jawline, you want to keep your contour right in your jaw. You don't want to bring it down to your neck, and you don't want to bring it up onto your complexion. So just blend that right along your jawline. This is just going to give an illusion of a more chiseled jawline, especially if you have a double chin going on. This works wonders. And then for your forehead, you want to blend into your temple. You don't want to bring it onto the middle of your face here. Don't just be blending like this. Make sure you're aiming out towards your temple. I do like to just take the excess that's on here and just put it on the sides of my face here and just connect it to my cheek contour. All right, and then when it comes to your nose contour, you just want to apply that contour down the sides of your nose. This is just going to give the illusion of a more chiseled and slimmer nose. So if you're someone who has like a wide nose like myself, this really helps to just kind of slim it down. And you just want to pinch your beauty sponge and just blend it out. Y'all can't tell me you do not see that, how that nose contour just transformed my nose. All right, so this is how the skin should be looking after highlighting and contour. So this is what I mean when the two have to work together. So once you highlight and contour, this is how you build back the natural structure and contours to your skin. So like I said, you can definitely use both in conjunction, or you can use them alone. For the sake of this video, because I did show you guys my contour, we're just gonna apply some powder bronzer to the same areas. I'm gonna show you guys what the difference is on one side compared to the other. So I'm gonna go in with my NYX Buttermelt bronzer. I love this bronzer, very affordable. I did get mine in the shade Butter Than You. So when it comes to applying your powder bronzer, you want to go in with a fluffy brush. With bronzer, you do not need to be precise in where you're putting it exactly. All you're doing is warming back up the skin. So for bronzer, a nice fluffy brush like this one will suffice. This one is the Menage powder brush number 20, and it's just a fluffy brush. So we're gonna dip into the bronzer. And with this one, might I say, you need to really be careful how much you're putting on the brush because it's really pigmented. So I dipped into that, and with bronzer, you're applying it in honestly the same areas. So your cheekbones, your forehead, and your jawline. So I'm gonna just sweep this onto my skin. And like I said, you don't need to be precise with a bronzer. All you're doing is sweeping it over those same areas. So I don't know if you guys could tell the difference between both sides, but this side looks like I got a really nice tan going on. It brought back some warmth and dimension to the skin. I love using bronzers, but if you're just going for more just a chiseled look, this is what a contour would do compared to a bronzer. So I don't know if you guys could see the difference. There's definitely a difference. So like I said, more warmer, more blended on this side, whereas this side is just more structured. So essentially, that is the difference between a bronzer and a contour. All right, so now we've officially powdered up our entire skin. We can go in with some setting spray to lock everything in place. So I'm gonna be using my MAC Fix Plus Stay Over setting spray and just set all of this in place. And then taking my sponge, I just like to just tap over everything. All right, sis, so I finished up the rest of my makeup off camera. So this is essentially the finishing look once you've contoured and bronzed your face. So I hope I was very detailed in today's video, letting you guys know the difference between bronzer and contour, when to use it, how to use it, and all of that. So let me know if you found today's video helpful. If you do have more questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. But yeah, that is about it for today. If you haven't checked out my most recent video, I did do a full face of makeup, broke it down step by step for beginners. So I'll leave it on the screen right here for you to check out right now if you haven't checked that out, or if you want a little refresher and just need that extra motivation to tackle your makeup goals for this year, check out this video right here. But that is about it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, sis, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.